Hello, and welcome to our webinar, The Impact of COVID-19 on the Retail Sector and Lessons Learned. My name is Corey Capodaferro, and I'll be moderating this session. Before we get started, I'll share some housekeeping items with you and introduce you to our hosts. We have muted all attendees to avoid any distractions or background noise during this webinar, and we encourage you to share questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We'll be walking through those questions led by my colleague, Yosine Hamming, at the end of the session. And just to let you know, this webinar is being recorded and will be posted online following the session. Hosting today's session are Suzanne Bavink-Bender, Communications Manager at Suitsupply, Bruno Pinto-Coelho, Training Leader at Decathlon, Guy Van Eck, Founder and CEO at MobiTrain, and Leonard Heisen, CRO at SpeakApp. Today, they'll be sharing with you responses to challenges faced during the first COVID-19 regulations and the best ways to help employees get used to the new normal. And then we'll conclude the session with your questions. So to get us started, Suzanne, it would be great if we could learn about your experience and how you responded to the challenges faced by COVID-19.
Thank you so much. So when we got a first understanding of the lockdown regulations and most of our stores had to close, we immediately set the goal to come out of this crisis stronger. So one of the most important things was our employee engagement, which we could actually easily reach through our Susu platform, which is our internal communication app from SpeakApp. We also organized daily online training, and we prepared for competitions as soon as the stores would reopen. Another big focus was our online initiatives. We were rolling out new programs to make sure that we could provide a radical personal experience also via online. So we started with co-browsing, which is a virtual personal shopping where sales professionals could meet the customer via our website and do an online styling session. We started training our training experts in clienteling so they can deliver personal interactions to customers to enhance the customer experience and establish long-term relationships. We also launched our improved website and our biggest outlet ever. And we launched a booking tool that actually helped us in the safe shopping in store. So that way our customers could book an appointment and meet the sales advisor at a specific time that was convenient for them. This directly leads to my following point, the safe shopping experience in store. We innovated as such that everyone got used to the new normal. So we installed safe shopping screens, which are actually plexi screens with, holes, so that our sales professionals could actually pin the suit of our customer, but without coming too close. So the plexiglass would be in between the customer and the sales professional. We also made sure that all our employees were wearing Suitsupply masks, so they were in style with our suits. And they were also, of course, offered to our clients that walked in the store. Also, all other hygiene and safety measures were there, such as a lot of cleaning, sanitizers, etc. And we made sure that we were working in small teams to both safeguard the safety of our teams and the customers. So, to successfully engage with our employees across the world, we use our platform Susu. The CEO could post weekly communication through it and directly be in touch with the employees. We also organized our daily online training via that. So no matter where our employee was working, they could directly be in contact with their team and with the trainers. So the way we target and post our messages, we always post it in a group. So that way we can always find all the messages back and also target the right audience. So this is also because of SpeakApp's quick and effective support, and they really helped us structure and organize our internal communication platform. Finally, we also set up some new groups because we really noted that there was a demand for our customers now more than ever to actually contact each other, engage with each other, share recipes, share workouts, share, I don't know, whatever made them good, feel good, and also inspire them to return as our best possible team. So then finally our stores reopened after the first lockdown, and we made sure we kicked off with a bang. We kicked that off with a bang. And we launched we launched a sales competition. It was focused around items per customer and around the European Champions League. Of course, all the guys missed out on this big tournament, so we wanted to make sure that our company created the buzz and the engagement and all the fun around it. And actually, we also increased our sales via this championship. The second one was the Suit Supply Club. That one was around the clubbing team. I think also a lot of our people felt a connection with it. Both competition had an individual and a store components, so we really made sure that they were working and giving it all they got, but also working as a team. Well, we succeeded because it both boosted the sales, engagement, and the spirits throughout the company.
That's great. Thank you. Leonard, would you be willing to share with us your insights from an industry-wide perspective?
Yeah, of course. Before I do that, though, congrats on the new website, Suus. We did not rehearse this by any means, but I do think that website what you guys did is pretty good work. More than pretty good, by the way. So, but excellent, awesome. I think, so Corey, to your point, I can give you a little bit more kind of broader scope based on all the customers we have been speaking to lately, and understand what's going on in their business, and also see where we could actually help. And I think this is one of the key things that we're in such weird times, and I'm not need to go and explain it to people, obviously. But a key learning for me during this epidemic is that we should never pretend that we have all the answers about what's going to happen. Because then life would be easier. but I don't think we can do that, though. For instance, one of the things that we were even not expecting at SpeakApp when the first waves hit our countries in Europe and the US, we saw SpeakApp users surge by 7 times. So,
oh, Len, you're a little bit frozen. Okay, you know what? We'll move on, and then when you are unfrozen, Len, we can jump back so that you can continue to share your perspectives. Just moving on to Bruno, please share with us what your experience was and how your team responded to COVID-19.
Hi, everybody. The COVID crisis was difficult for each of us, both as citizen and as a retailer. We saw that our habits and routines were shaken up. We have seen an incredible growth of digital tools, an exponential acceleration of certain changes, like online consumption, online trainings, online learning, and in our case, sports at home. That was really new for us. In view of all these changes, our main priority is to reassure our teams, to stay together as a team, and help every team member to eliminate the fears and the unknown of this new reality. That was really important for us, and then I will come back late in the presentation. But for us, before taking care of our customers, it was important to take care of our employees. So employees first philosophy, it was the most important things for us. Because we think that serenity, security, and the confidence of our teams is a sine qua non condition for any other action. Only confident teams can create, adapt, act, and in this case, anticipate. This security allows us to go together towards the better. This crisis, of course, it was a hard moment, but I think we can make a better company and towards a more sustainable company, towards a more circular company, towards a more local company. quickly, but without haste. Looking back, I believe that COVID was not only had negative impact. I will give a few examples in the next part of the webinar, but I think COVID allow us to accelerate our digital transformation, that allow us to reveal the talent and creativity of our people, that allow us to initiate the transformation of our business model, that allow us also to open to the others, to the other companies, also to the other retailers, and not leave alone, and finally to move forward. And today, I think that all the persons that work in Decathlon, they have an even greater sense of pride and belonging, because more than ever they are fighting to make the pleasure and the benefits of sport accessible to the many, but respecting the playground, our land, and that is a really important point for us. So I think this COVID was hard, but that really allow us to go to better and not just to have bad things.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then next, it would be great if we can hear from you, Guy. What was your perspective on the topic?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. First of all, Suzanne and Bruno, thank you for sharing the stories and participating today in the webinar. From our point of view, what I've seen with a lot of retailers was, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was a little bit of crisis, or a big crisis for many of us, where everybody stood still for a very short moment in time. But as we could see today with two examples, but there are many more which we have seen with our clients, is that actually very quickly people become very innovative, started to work in different ways, and did things which normally would take maybe 2 years, and now it happened in only 2 months. And a little bit like Bruno just said, back to better. I will come back to that later on, also from another client of us, but that's definitely a spirit that we have seen, which I think is a fantastic thing in this difficult period for many retailers. In general, what you can say is that the digitalization is something that goes faster than ever in retail. And that's not only by having new processes and new digital processes and how the full omni-channel strategy is going on, but also by implementing tools to support you in deploying that strategy, where you need to use a lot of digital tools. And that means that also the people that work in stores have different skills that they need now than what they needed maybe sometimes only 3 months ago, and definitely 1 year ago. And my view on the situation is that if we're going to look now 1 year from now or 2 years from now, it will again be quite different, because the store of the future is evolving in a very fast pace. And that means that in many cases, we see that there is a sort of skill gap, that the people that you have now and how you're working versus where you want to go, that's not an easy one to bridge that. And where then learning and upskilling, reskilling your people is extremely important. And one point that I also want to make there is a great study from McKinsey that happened, I think, a few months ago, where they showed from 2016 up to 2030 how the skills will change in stores. And then two things or two type of competences that will really go up significantly is social and emotional skills. And that, for me, goes very close together with a store that's becoming really a sort of brand ambassador place, where it's much more than just a transaction base. And technological skills. And that's because everything we said a few minutes ago, there is so much that the people in a store need to work with from tools, that it's of course crucial that they have those technological skill sets. And the funny thing is that many CEOs recognize this. They say upskilling and reskilling is very important. But then the only difficult point sometimes is that you see that only 1% of budget goes often to frontline workers. So a lot of retailers are spending quite a lot of money also on training, for example, but often they focus it more on a managerial level, store manager level, but then it stops one way or another. And that's where we're a big believer with everything we heard, that you want to reach everyone. And that's not only with training, that's also with communication. And that, of course, the right budgets can be allocated to that with great successes. But that was it from my seat.
I think that's perfect. A perfect transition, Guy. It was very interesting what you shared, especially about the importance of reaching not just the corporate office, but also the frontline workers. I see that we have Leonard back on the line. Leonard, it would be great if you could share your insights on what you learned.
Yeah, so you probably lost me at that we don't know what we don't know. So I didn't know that I was going to drop off in the middle of a webinar. Sorry about that. I think that also comes with working remotely. But the rest I was going to actually is that SpeakApp's usage surged by 7 times. Amazing number. We were not expecting that number to happen even. So we had challenges in our business at the time to make sure that SpeakApp kept being online for our customers, because nobody was like prepared for that for that matter. That meant a lot of long nights for people, for engineers, for people like myself, to make sure that customers can actually deal with these new situations. And I think what I found most interesting actually is that the usage of our product actually increased across our customers. But more interesting actually is that I start seeing users start forming new habits. So to give you an example, then private messaging within SpeakApp was not really as used as much before as it is today. And that was quite interesting, because we noticed that private messaging was used a lot on a local level and in the main office, but the main office and local level were not really talking to each other through chat. There were other channels for that. And I think one of the things that we just saw change without anybody really paying any special attention to it is that people start using the chat more. So what I've seen some customers do, as we were pointing out the trend in their data, some customers start saying, okay, I need to kind of communicate more clearly about these features, because apparently some people are already using them without us even knowing. So just imagine what could happen if we start promoting these features. And this, for me, by no means is as a discussion about a product. For me, this is everything. Why I think this is an interesting example, because you didn't know users would change their habits, and now they're doing that. And I think customers can actually respond to that and do that really well. And they use this moment to make that change happen for their employees, even in these really weird times. So I think that was kind of a moment or a thing really worth mentioning. And then last thing that I wanted to mention is that I think retailers should not underestimate, I should say, the updating employees, even when you think there is no news. For customers I've seen that do it really well, they actually do this really well. They continue to communicate about it, and more than in a minute, I also think actually. But already a sneak peek, customers who do not do this because they're also dealing with this uncertainty themselves, I think they see less engagement with their employees. And that in return also means less engagement in learning, for instance, to Guy's point, but also means less impact on the business. So I think this is something that I really would want to drive home. Don't underestimate the communication, even when you think you don't have any news.
That's great. Okay, so next we'll move on to learn how each of you helped your employees get used to the new normal. Suzanne, it would be great if you could share your experience there and what you did.
Yeah, so I'm actually really proud to see that after the first wave and the actions we took as a company and the actions we took via Susu, is that the teams are now more connected than ever and engaged with each other. They're really supporting each other. Like, for example, when Paris had to close, Munich was sending their heartwarming message, and they're really having each other's back. So it's really cool to see that they are now encourage each other all over the globe. And in addition, I think also as a company or employees are really eager for the success of Zoetsupply. I think all of us have a very positive and hands-on mentality, and every day I'm actually very impressed by my colleagues who have a fast and effective and direct approach. And then because we have a very quick decision-making process, I think we get a lot of possibilities to set up new initiatives. And I think that will really help us get out of this crisis stronger. The biggest difference with the first wave during this second, if you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So yeah, the biggest difference between the first and the second wave is that now most of our stores are still open. So we continue to really provide that safe shopping experience for both our employees and our clients. We have quick tests, we have hygiene measures, we have the mask, the temperature goggles, and you see also in the picture, you see the plastic screens. Throughout, we can actually pin our customer to find his own perfect fit. We try to meet our customer demand, which of course shifted more to casual wear than suits. And we also direct this in our training directly to our employees. Our training teams are vigorously working with our teams to become more knowledgeable and more passionate about our product. And it turns out to be a really effective and fun way to improve the knowledge. So I got a question from Tom. I don't know if I can already answer that or if I should wait until the Q&A about the training.
Oh yeah, if you feel it's a fit for this section, go ahead, please share with us.
Yeah, so he actually wants to know how we organized our daily trainings for the stores and in which format and what tools we used and what we are actually learning from this approach. So during COVID, our training team, which is actually a pretty big team within our company because we take our knowledge so seriously, our training team directly launched this online training program. We did it daily and we did it via Kahoot. I don't know if you know, but those are very short quizzes that our employees could take after they read a certain article or a certain section or watching a short video from our training team, and then they could answer the questions. And of course, we added some fun questions, and we made sure that after the quiz, the training expert in the team, so each of our teams has actually a training expert in store, would go over the questions and give some more background information. So it was really a very good collaboration between the global training team and the local training experts in store. Right now, we noticed that the daily training was a little bit too much, so we shifted it to like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then when the stores opened, we even did it weekly and maybe later on monthly, just to make sure that we actually meet the demand of our employees. So yeah, that is about the training. And then we continue to roll out new initiatives, new online initiatives to really meet and make sure that we can provide that radical personal shopping experience to our customers. And then lastly, our expectations are actually pretty positive. After the 2008 financial crisis, the business grew. And of course, we understand that the economic environment right now is challenging and will be challenging for a while, but we'll be there. Like when this is all over, you will want to go out, your friends want to go out, people will get married. So people will go out, and when they do, they want to look good.
You're right about that, Susanna. So, okay, now it would be great, Leonard, if you could share a bit with us on the broader topic as well. How do you feel companies can help their employees get used to the new normal?
Yeah, of course. So let's hope I stay on. I think so. I want to start as an example close to home, which is Speak-App. So one of the things that we noticed with COVID hitting us, we noticed that our customers were obviously affected. So one of the first things we need to do in-house is explain to people who are not day in, day out with our customers, simply because they are developing our product, for instance, or they are running marketing campaigns. What we had to explain to those teams is how our customers are affected and how the priorities of our customers shift. Because you probably can imagine this affects our product roadmap. So we have we've pushed out features that we were intending to build, or which we thought they're relevant, but not as relevant as other features. So we changed really our roadmap, and actually going in 2021, we're changing our roadmap again based on the second and probably third waves that countries will see going forward. So I think that is something that first to mention, really explain. In our business, we had to explain to people how this is affecting us and why we are making certain decisions. And then what we also did more on the personal side is we have been very clear from the get-go is that, okay, we're going to work from home, guys. We're going to be a full remote company unless there's reasons for people to be in the office. So even this webinar could be a reason to be in the office, but we decided to do it from home. And we've been very clear on until when. So even when the government was saying there's a 6-week lockdown or 2-week lockdown, we said, okay, then we're going to be doing this throughout the rest of the year. And then we'll evaluate as we go. So employees know for the next few months at least what then that new norm is for us at SpeakUp. Having said that, we are a desk company, right? Like many of us right now that are kind of joining this call, we often have a desk, whether that's at home or in a company, but that's our job. But at the same time, our customers and also a lot of people on the call right now, they actually have a lot of employees who we would say deskless employees, right? So they're in your front line, and I think what I've seen with customers there, essentially. I've seen other alternatives for what I was just describing SpeakUp, and one of the two alternatives I wanted to highlight is that one very simple one is the consistency in communication. The new normal doesn't happen like this. It's not done. It's you have to, that transition you need to do. And even when you think it's done, you're not done. So being consistent in your communication, I think that is something that I've seen a few retailers of SpeakUp that use SpeakUp do really well. And what I've also seen, actually, Suze was already kind of even talking a little bit about the fun stuff. The things that happen, the wishes that people give each other, the exercise courses that people are going to throw or exercising together. That's content nobody would really have thought that we would be promoting, right? Like we cannot imagine, and I still cannot imagine that we're doing that essentially in the context of running a business. But it's so important. I've seen the best engagement on that type of content actually, instead of the very top-down type of communication flows. So what I would encourage people is to join that conversation and even promote that type of content. Although it feels uncomfortable at first because you're here to do your job and to communicate to your workforce, but that workforce is doing stuff themselves. And I would embrace that to make sure that you increase that employee engagement during these times. That would be my tip based on what I've seen other customers do.
That's great. And then Bruno, it would be excellent to hear from you how you helped your employees get used to the new normal as well.
Yes, perfect. Instead of speaking about some main strategies of the company, I prefer to share with you some examples of real people from Decathlon who took action and who decide to get in motion to create their best today. There are lots of them. I share with you in the slide 6. I will probably tell you about 4 because we don't have enough time. So I go to speak about Sophie and Damien, who decided in their own way to create, to take care of the others. And then in the second point, Babette and Olivier, who decided to start transform our business model from the base to the top. So I will start with Sophie, that was afraid for her and for lots of colleagues of finding herself with less pay because our stores are closed. Sophie works in the store, so she earns less money. So she saw in the newspapers that the supermarkets are full and they are trying to finding persons. So from there to the action, it was a matter of days. She contacted several brands like here in Belgium, Deleuze and Colruyt. And very quickly, a partnership was found with Colruyt, allowing our store and warehouse teams to easily go to work in the Colruyt stores closest to their home. That was a great point because Sophie starts with a personal afraid and she develops something for all the Belgian Decathlon company. And more than 100 Decathlon employees from Belgium have benefited from this partnership. They work a day, a week, one afternoon in the Corwait nearest to their house. And that was really great because it was a new experience, but they also have more income at the end of the month. In the second point, I will speak about Damien. Damien, and some guys from Mobitaine know him. Damien is a passionate about fitness, design, and technology. So the store was closed also, and Damien, instead of stay home, trying to make fitness at home and watching TV, Damien asked us, I want to make something. I want to help the other guys from Decathlon that are at home to create value or to add value when the stores will open. And that was great because at those times we are starting launching Mobitrain, the platform that we use to train our persons, to train our field personnel in terms of product trainings, skills trainings. And that was great because we are trying to find someone who knows about informatica, who knows about design, and was a really creative person. That is great because today Damien is the operational leader of the project. With this energy, we are able to create during the first period of COVID more than 60 learning paths in Mobitrain, and today his energy allows more than 800 colleagues from Decathlon to each day go to Mobitrain to learn a little bit more. So they are home, they have this app in their smartphone, so they can learn new things about the products, about the skills, about the company, about our purpose, about our values. That is a really good point. And probably when the stores will open again, Damien will no longer back to the stores. Probably he will stay working with us with this Mobitrain app because now he loves it and he sees the results every day. That was a great point. You can change the slide if you want now. Yeah, it's okay. Sorry. Then I will speak I will share with the example of Babette and Olivier, and those persons had lots of ideas and a deep desire to offer something else at Decathlon. For example, Babette is really passionate about environment, sustainable development, all that stuff. And Babette no longer support the overconsumption generated by the sale of new product at Decathlon. So she decided to set in motion and launch a project around the purchase, refurbishment, and resale of used sport products. She has this time during the first COVID period because she's at home. So she has time to get connected with other companies to develop a business model. And today, the day that I speak with you, she already sold 1,500 reconditioned bicycles in 26 stores in Belgium. And her project is so important for the company now that our shareholders make it as a priority project for the company. And that was great because that starts with, I no longer support this kind of overconsumption of Decathlon. Okay, but I will use this period to create a new thing, to create a new business model. And Decathlon nowadays is not only selling new products, but is also selling refurbishment products by Babette, if you can say like that. Olivier, it was a different thing because Olivier has 3 or 4 kids, 4 kids, I think. And Olivier was frustrated that Decathlon, a sports company, does not offer him and his family the opportunity to make sport at home with the kids during the COVID lockdown. The guy was crazy. I'm at home with my 4 kids and I cannot make sport by Decathlon. It's not normal. What can I do with it? So Olivier, that is a sport lover, start to get in contact with some fitness coaches, with some fitness clubs, in order to develop some kind of online sport sessions for the kids. So he starts with a group in Zoom, like we are doing today, with a group of colleagues that he decided to invite by email, by our company email. They start by 10, then by 20, then by 50. And now, if you go to our website, decathlon.be, you can find three sport programs that you can subscribe. And Olivier was our origin of these sport programs. And today, more than 1,000 customers already pay a subscription, a month subscription, to have access for a family sport program for the kids, art sport program for those that want to go really hard, and the kind of relaxation and wellness sport program with yoga, Pilates, and all that stuff. There are lots of examples like that. There are lots of stories like that in Belgium and in other countries. But this kind of stories from the persons from Decathlon that work in the stores, that work in our warehouses, that work in our offices, and they want to change our company by the inside. That gives me lots of confidence and make me see that the COVID crisis as a real opportunity to change the things inside Decathlon. Voila.
That's excellent. And it sounds like a theme that I'm hearing everyone share is that sometimes the worst situations can bring out the best in people and companies and really inspire creativity. Guy, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, thank you. I would say to summarize, it's actually going back to better. It's not going back to a normal thing or back to where we were, but finding ways to do it in a more innovative and nice way. And one of the things that I heard also a lot of from Leonard and from everyone is how do you drive that engagement with your employees? How do you keep them really engaged? And I believe that one of the crucial things, if you think about then information sharing and training, is that you offer the right content at the right moment in the right format. And that can be very different depending on what is the need. But that's where, for me, communication and learning are also very, very close to each other, because sometimes it's as simple as sending a very short message at the right moment to give people a nudge in the right direction. And sometimes you need to give a little bit more instructions, really like a training, but you need to be able to do that all in a fast and agile way. And I believe when I look at the retailers that we work with, that they really took that opportunity, that they said, now we have an opportunity where we need to be at home, where we cannot do everything that we do normally, but let's use it to prepare ourselves to go to the next phase and to it better than ever before. And by the way, we didn't only see it with retail, we also saw it, for example, in hospitality. There was even a bigger surprise for us, like a lot of restaurants that needed to close down, and suddenly they came to us saying like, okay, this is the moment that we want to prepare our learning approach for once we go open again, and we want to do it more efficient and effective than before. So that's in general a nice thing. Another great example that we saw with one of our clients was Timberland. So they saw when they opened again that there was, of course, also less traffic in the stores. But again, the right moment, the right content. So they put a lot of focus on conversion. So they said, okay, we have less people, but how can we make sure we get most out of those clients that want to visit us, that we can do it, of course, in a safe way for everyone, but also that we can drive that conversion up. So they did some very specific trainings that they made in a very short period of time, did that over our platform, and they went up to 70% in their conversion rates. Of course, it has also to do with less traffic, but also the fact of having focus, communicate about it via different ways, help them to put really a great effort on that one single topic and drive some great results in a very short period of time. So I think in general, we also just did a research on a corporate benchmark in learning with around 100 stakeholders in Europe and Benelux. And what we have seen, and I think that's very positive, is that a lot of those HR stakeholders say that more than 70% thinks that the budget will at least stay the same or will even increase if you think about learning initiatives. And that's what I hear today as well. Even in those difficult periods, we're positive for the future, and we believe now we need to do more than ever before. And also that there is a big willingness to implement new digital tools. And I think that's also a very positive thing, but there may be one important thing to mention. It's not just adding tools for the sake of adding tools. I think this is also a great opportunity to stand still and see how can we organize this in a good way. And it's not always by just doing Zooms and a lot of Zooms because people get bored by it. Hopefully not today, of course, but it's also by thinking how can we build an architecture where we are really agile, where we have a good combination between how can we communicate, how can we reach everyone, and how can we build fun and engaging learning content to bring it to the right people at the right time. And that's an exercise where I think a lot of companies are going through, and we're also happy to support that.
Excellent point. And now I hand it off to Josine to take some questions from the audience.
Yes, thank you, Corey. So we have had some questions that have been asked ahead of this webinar and also during the webinar. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I think we'll just focus on one question for now. And that's a question we received again from Tom today. And I think it's relevant for all of us, but I'd like to direct it to you, Bruno, if that's okay. Tom's question is, of course, today we focused on training and communication to keep your teams engaged, mostly because that's your expertise, Bruno and Susanna, of course. Are there any other ways that you see that ways to keep your store teams motivated and inspired? Do you have any examples?
Yeah,
you can weigh in on that?
I will just give you some examples that what we live in Belgium. So first thing, it was really important for us, for our store teams, to not lose the contact. So they work as a team all year long. So it was important to sometimes, once a week or once each 2 weeks, to keep in contact, to keep the teams together by Zoom or by Google Meet. So no matter what, just to share a moment. Sometimes just to speak a little bit about the work, to share a digital aperitif, just to share a moment. For us, it was the first thing. Don't lose contact. Then we still organize our meetings, because we have like a planning with some meetings for the coaches, for the team members, for trainings and all that stuff. And we keep them digitally, of course, but it was important for us to keep them, to show we still live that, yeah, we have a new reality, but we should stop working or decided or be together. And then in terms of learning, we launched MobiTrain, as we said, and we try to motivate the persons and say, okay, you're at home, use this time to learn something. Use this time to learn something, and use this time to help the others learn. So I thought about Damien a few minutes ago. Damien does not create 60 learning paths alone. So Damien asks all the colleagues that are at home. There is someone that is expert about cycling. There is someone that is expert about fitness. Okay, I am. Okay, just come with me, and let's together create fitness training for all the persons that are at home. So for us, it was really important to keep contact, to still living digitally, but keep our engagements, keep our agenda, and okay, increase our trainings and ask all our team members to be a part of this creation of learning paths, like that they feel concerned about, okay, I create this, so I'll speak in my group. That is important thing to do.
Yeah.
Some
Great.
examples.
Yes, thank you very much. Very insightful. So being mindful of everyone's time today, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. It was very insightful. And I'd also like to thank the attendees and everyone who posted a question. I have added contact details from Leonard and Guy to the chat. So if there are any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to reach out. That's it. I want to thank everyone, and I want to wish everyone a lovely rest of your day.